And so I don't know who directed this. I don't know who edited it. But all I know is I'm literally getting hundreds of comments at me telling me that I'm a piece of shit, and then I should basically die, and I'm not funny. And I've been doing, and this is like a snakes and ladders industry. So you know have a success, and then you have a bunch of failures.
Okay, we're rolling.
Oh wait, we're rolling already?
Yeah, we're rolling
I'm
already.
just finishing this text.
Okay, too good. I'll wait here. Hey everybody, how's it going? Just gonna wait for this text to finish being texted. The current weather is 82 degrees and cloudy in Brooklyn, New York. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night, so plan accordingly. Should be hot throughout the week, some high humidity. It'll cool off after the storm, though, hopefully for a little while. Bring it down from 80%
Is it actually going to
to
storm?
50%. I'm making this up as I go, Janelle.
Oh.
This is what we call a bit. It's not a very good bit, but it's a bit.
Sorry, I only recognize good bits. I guess that was the thing.
Ooh. All right. We're on episode 23, right? This is 23?
23.
23, yeah.
Yeah, because last was 22.
22. And so after 22, as we all know, comes 23. What you looking at?
My students' favorite Chinese recipes.
Yeah, Mona. So, welcome to episode 23 of I'm Trying. I'm Jacob Derwin.
And I'm Janelle Dennis.
And thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we're sitting in my bedroom, and I have to figure out where to put all my books because the thing I had them in left with my former roommate, Wolf Scott. He's got a new dig in Crown Heights, and we wish him luck on the move.
I'm still so upset we didn't have like a going away party.
He's literally a 30-minute walk from here. I've been there. It's very easy to get there.
30-minute walk. That's so far.
I think you can handle it. So I kind of just have just like books and stuff sitting around the apartment, and one of them's a cookbook called My Students' Favorite Chinese Recipes by Norma Chang, who is a cooking instructor. And when I was a little kid, my grandparents would take me to their like local public library, and there'd be these cooking demonstrations occasionally by Norma Chang. And I was like a little kid, and I would ask questions even though I didn't know what I was saying, but I was curious, and I like food, you know.
And I like food.
And years later, I was like in college, and my grandparents told me that she had a website and that I should go say hi. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I went on and I wrote a little note on like the message board, like, hey, don't know if you remember me. I'm Bonnie and Dan's grandson, Jacob, let me know. And she got back to me and asked for my address, and she sent me that cookbook, and there's a little inscription in it. That's like
she
wishing
wrote
me well.
the book.
Yeah. And it's like her recipes that she like when she teaches cooking, like the things that are the biggest hits. And it's all Chinese recipes. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's very sweet. It's a really sweet little gift.
And she's Chinese, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the whole thing is Norma Chang. Yeah, she's not Finnish. You know what I mean? Like it's. I guess she could be, but
she could be married to a Chinese person.
Yeah, that's true. But no, that's her area of expertise, and it's a lovely. And I didn't use it a whole lot in college because it requires like Chinese cooking, like legitimate Chinese cooking, like requires very specific kinds of vinegar and oil and vegetables and meats, and so like I in college in Ohio dorm room, you don't really keep like spicy shrimp, you know what I mean, or like salty shrimp or like spicy pork, or you kind of just do mac and cheese. But now that I am an adult with an apartment, I'm going through those old books and seeing what I can make. It's fun. Do you have any things you cook that you're confident in?
I don't like cooking.
No.
So
you're good at you like brewing tea though.
Yes.
You're into tea, which I can. I mean, maybe not cooking, but it's a food service. It's still a.
I just like the selection of it.
Sure, but you also take it seriously. Like I've seen your process. Like you're not just putting a bag in a cup. You're using like the nice stuff.
It's not that much more serious. I think as long as you have the tools.
Yeah, but you have the tools.
You just need the loose leaf tea and the strainer.
Yeah. Good. But also like the high quality selection of different types of leaves, and like a way to keep them all organized and fresh.
I wouldn't say there's even that much thought.
I'm trying to talk you up here, Janelle.
Someone gave me a David's Tea gift set before I moved here with the mug, the strainer, and all the tea, loose leaf tea things. So I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah. It's delightful. Yeah. I'm a big fan.
And it's better than bag tea, but I would go to bag tea in a minute if I didn't have any of these tools.
Well, I had the chocolate one, I think, that was in your tea set once. It was very nice. So I'm into it. Big news in the apartment. So since Wolf has moved, we've had new people move in to the apartment, and one of whom.
This was such a plot twist. I can't believe.
I'm 100% sure I told you about all of this as it was happening, but whatever, man. And one of them brought. I should preface. I was planning on adopting a cat. That's where you were going. I thought you meant the twins.
No.
I was. That's a whole different thing. I adopted a set of twins.
Adult twins.
I was planning on adopting a cat as soon as the moves happened, as soon as everybody moved out, because I was just something I've wanted. I had a cat until I was 16. When I grew up, like I loved them. I get along with them.
You are obsessed with cats.
I'm not like a cat lady. Like I'm not like I don't have like pictures of them everywhere.
Lot of them, but I think there's two different types of, and will be gender open with
sure.
This. Not just cat lady, but cat man.
I mean it as like as a general stereotype.
Yeah.
I mean,
because my mom's a cat lady, but she doesn't have a bunch of cats. She's just obsessed with one.
Sure. And when I say I truly just like cats. Like I like dogs too, but like in terms of an animal I can take care of, I think I mesh better with a cat in general. And so I found out that the person who was going to be moving in to the room to replace Wolf when he moved out had a 5-year-old cat, and her name is Marley.
And you're like, okay, I'm like, get the apartment.
You got it. Like, no, I mean, that wasn't the main reason. Like, but it was really cool that now we have a cat in the apartment, and she's incredibly sweet, and we're already getting along like chums, and it's making me very happy. I'm feeling really happy about it. Brings a smile to my face. It's a comforting thing.
Yeah, you love a cat.
I love a cat. Anyways, and that's just a fun little life update. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything. You might hear during the episode, I don't know if I'm going to edit it out or not, but at one point in the episode you might hear a crash and then me go, I think that was the cat, and me finding out that one of my curtains was pulled down by the cat. But I have this kind of flimsy tension rod holding the curtain up, and it took it down, so put it back up, but you might hear that in the episode.
The cat's causing a ruckus.
It's a ruckus. And it's great.
Oh, you said edits.
oh yeah.
Cat's causing a ruckus. Edits.
Anyways, tell me a little bit about Sara Hennessey, who came on the podcast today.
Oh yeah. Sara is from Toronto. I know her. She's a very funny comedian. I knew about her before I started comedy there. She was a part of this group called Laugh Sabbath.
Laugh Sabbath, that's awesome.
Yeah, they still do shows every Thursday at Comedy Bar, still to this day.
Wow.
At Just for Laughs this year, a bunch of them were there. They're so funny and so unique. You know, you could call them quote unquote alt comedy, but you know, I just think they're fun.
They're just funny.
They're just funny, and they have unique takes on things and silly takes.
Silly gags
on. We'll not use the word gags only because there's a show in Canada called Just for Laughs Gags.
Oh no.
That is like it's the butt of a lot of jokes.
Got it.
Has this
I mean it's a little obvious.
And it's like a prank show.
Oh, it's a prank show.
Yeah, so it's just like they go around Montreal and do these weird pranks. It's been around forever.
Got it. I apologize for using the G word. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, so she's not her jokes aren't gag style. Gangnam style.
Oh jeez. Oof.
That was a good song. I don't care.
Oh my god, that was a rough joke, man. That was a good joke and a good song. Ooh. Damn. I downloaded the music video. I was there.
Yeah.
So yes, you met Sara in Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, and she's just she's a goofy, funny gal. She used to be on the show Video on Trial. That was a huge hit in Canada, which I wish would come back, but people don't watch music videos anymore. Or music videos don't air on TV
Yes,
anymore.
not on TV anymore. It's easily accessible.
It's so hard to get people to watch a music video.
I could see it being an internet kind of format. I mean, so there's so many popular internet shows there have been so many popular digital shows over the years that are literally just like funny video reviews.
Yeah,
and, like I could totally. See
I feel
that
like it's become more commoditized, and the YouTube, democracy has, everyone has their reaction videos now.
You know it.
So it's just you find your favorite person and go to them.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's a lot more of a challenge, but
it's tough. Find your market. It's hard.
Yeah, but some of the episodes are on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So if you want to
get a taste for Sarah's. Yeah.
I don't know if any of the comedians on the show would be like, yeah, plug that. Plug the show that was out 7 years ago.
But Sarah's playing shows all the time here in New York, and she's we talk a lot about the awful world of social media and how that's tough for creativity. And it's a really
because we talked about it a little. We touched on it a little bit in the Mark Norman episode. I forget was that episode 15?
I can't remember the number.
One of those. But yeah, we really dive into the whole social media troll and just what it's like to get hate
to put yourself out there and then have something read strangely and it just kind of turn on you. It's tough. It's a tough thing, especially as a creative person. Because it's your own work.
So much people are always like, oh well, just like, get a thick skin. Like you won't be cut out for the industry if you can't take it. No, I don't think anyone that is remotely how do I say this in a way that mentally healthy, like it's not a normal thing to just put up with unless you've gone through abuse.
You're right. Don't read the comments, don't feed the trolls. And I hope you guys enjoy our episode with the hilarious Sara Hennessey.
Woo!
Oh my! What is that really your own phone? Just Instagram and.
Well, you know what? I've been doing this new thing where I delete it every day.
Oh. That's why Instagram?
I fully delete it so that way I don't scroll on it. Like I literally have to take it off my phone and then I will re-download it just to see if I have any messages about shows or whatever. So that's how I saw that you were like, hey, confirming about this.
Oh my god!
But I would next time let's just text because
I should have just texted you.
Well, no, yeah, it's like it's I think it's affecting people's health like looking at it all the time. So I'm doing a full delete. It's very dramatic, but then keep on downloading every day just in case for correspondence.
No, I get it. I got rid of Facebook for months, and then I had to get it again because I was setting up a tour, and then I had to figure out apartment stuff. And roommate, and I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah, but it's a weird tool, and some people can cut it out completely, and that's cool. But I think for comedy shows and stuff like that, some people are using Messenger or promoting shows or whatever on all the different platforms. So. But I do feel like Facebook is so boring, and I don't even look at it.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. It's like, who cares?
It's our parents being bad at understanding news. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't know. My parents aren't even on it. Like I think I'm a little older than everybody, and my parents are like, they're just like, can you just show us what your brother posted on it? Like, they just want to see what our family... I'm like, if you guys just join it, they're like, we've tried, we can't. Like they just, like, they've given up. And I actually think life is probably better that way. I don't like picturing my parents, like, on a Facebook situation. Yeah. I'm like, stay pure, man. Stay pure.
Stay pure. Would you feel like it, like, personally, it was really affecting your health, Instagram? Like, it was seriously getting...
I think what I was doing is, like, I have all these hopes and dreams in life, as we all do. But then you're like, you know how we always say, like, tomorrow I'm gonna get all this stuff done, but then tomorrow comes and you spend in the pie chart of your day, you're spending quite a lot of it just on looking at your phone instead of maybe at the beautiful weather or like the like anything happening in front of you to keep you grounded and like a normal human being. So that's why I take it off. And it's good because every time I go to grab my phone and look at it mindlessly, I'm like, oh, I have to mindfully choose something to do right now because I can't look at it.
So you installed your own obstacles.
Yes. And some people, I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and she's like, I put my Instagram on the second page so that way I have to use my thumb to shift over to find it. And
that one's sucks.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not an obstacle.
Yeah.
We're all swiping, and that's just another one. That's just another swipe.
I know Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's an avid tweeter, and he deletes Twitter over the weekend. And he takes a break over the weekend. He does not even go near it, stays away, and then on Monday, all right.
I love that. I love a work week. Yeah. I mean, it's so nice. It's like, it's refreshing when people dedicate a day to just like not having to do correspondence with people who aren't in their inner circle, like their family or close friends. I think that's so cool.
It is.
And I think because it's so easy to be connected, it's like we have to like purposely disconnect now. That's just where we're at. Unless you like live in the woods, then you've done your job. Good for you. You know how to build a fire.
Right. We'll live in the woods. Okay. Yeah. So what did you think of? We told you the prompt. What came to mind?
Oh my gosh. My latest failure.
Yes.
Buckle up.
Buckled.
Okay, so I do stand-up comedy, and it's a humbling thing, right? Because like sometimes it goes really great, and you're like, can't believe it. This is so fun. I'm walking on sunshine, and then sometimes it doesn't go so great. But the more experience you have, the longer you do it, the more you can kind of chalk it up to certain things. Whether it's a weird room, the crowd was strange. Wow, they liked all these people that are so not in my taste. For sure, they wouldn't like me, or blah blah blah. Usually, it goes well. I'd like to think that I have like. If this was like a baseball analogy, I have a good batting average.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I just dropped my rake. That's what it sounded like.
Give me 1 second. Make sure that wasn't a cat thing. Hold on.
I bet that was a cat. That was a cat getting
into some hijinks.
Yeah, that was cat getting into some.
Took down my curtain.
Ooh, that was definitely a light curtain rod hitting their head.
Yeah.
I'm not
like a slinky.
I'm not a Foley sound, or what is it called? Foley sound? What are they called?
Foley sound?
I'm not a Foley sound expert, but
Foley.
I love all the different possibilities of what that noise could have been.
I was also trying to work it out. I'm like, really light curtain rod.
It was a light curtain rod, or I was thinking a light rake. That's what I also pictured.
I just keep my rake up here.
Yeah.
For the hot months.
Yeah. I did let it have some time in before autumn.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways,
yes.
So that was my whole preamble to say that I think that I don't suck at comedy, okay? This is what I do for a living.
We can confirm that you don't from your credits and everything.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing also is like it's snakes and ladders in this business. So I've done Just for Laughs a bunch of times, and that's supposed to be a big feather in your cap. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Just for Laughs is, and get ready for me to spill the tea.
Uh-oh.
You wait all year, and you hope you get in, and you work really hard, and blah, blah, blah. And then you find out you get in, and you're like, yes. And then they tell you what shows you're on, and like you're like, sweet. And they're like, it's going to be a TV taping. And you're like, awesome. And so then you go, and then there's all these elements that you don't have any control over. Mm-hmm. It's not just like who are the audience, like who did they pair me up with, blah blah blah. You have directors who don't have a good taste who might not necessarily have a taste in comedy. Okay. They don't know you, so they don't know how to edit your pacing. Mm-hmm. So then basically sometimes you wait all year, you shoot it, you're like, cool, that was good, and then you're kind of waiting to see it, and then when it comes out, you're like, oh, like the lighting is really weird. Like I thought I looked really good that day, but I don't look as good. But that's okay. Comedy is not about looking good. It's about the words. And then you're like, okay, and you're like, well, they kind of edited that pretty tightly, so they didn't let that joke breathe like it usually does, which kind of screws with my pacing. And my pacing kind of is like kind of a part of my identity for how I tell jokes, because It's all about timing. So anyways, one of I've done it 4 times, and one day I wake up to this notification that Just for Laughs posted a clip of my last taping on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and I was like, sick, cool, that's nice. And so I just like hit a RT, maybe a comment in RT. I was like, I'm like, hey, cool. And like whatever, and I'm like, keep on trucking, and then I went about my day, and then when I came home, I just started seeing some notifications come up on Instagram, and it was like just like a lot of like I don't know, maybe like I guess like the meanest things that have ever been said to me. I guess. No. So it was just like a cool normal day, and I'm like just trying to put one foot in front of the other, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm just seeing people like tag my name, or notifications are coming up, and they're just like, you're ugly, you're not funny, blah blah blah, like what a loser, like this sucks, women aren't funny, all this stuff. And I was like, what is this? And then so basically Just for Laughs had put out a clip of my stand-up, which they basically cut the joke in half. So the funniest part of the joke is not in the cut that they put. So basically that would be, I'd say, the punchline. And
one might call it.
Yeah. And so it has a mini punchline, but then they cut it off because they want to be edgy. You know how people do quick cuts these days to be like, whoa, in your face. But that's not super duper my style. It doesn't really go along with my pacing. I'm not a shock jock. I am not like an Anthony Jeselnik, like, take this, Nazi diarrhea, like hit like a 1-2 punch. I'm more of like a silly climb in a jaunty manner, like which I and I don't know who directed this. I don't know who edited it, but all I know is I'm literally getting hundreds of comments at me telling me that I'm a piece of and then I should basically die, and I'm not funny. And I've been doing, and this is like a snakes and ladders industry. So you know have a success, and then you have a bunch of failures. So it keeps you nice and grounded. Like you'll never feel too good about yourself. That's a nice squeak. That was my little mouse. I bring him everywhere I go. Bit of a what are they called? Like the peacock on the plane, like a
an emotional support.
Yeah, that's what my little mouse is.
Mouse?
Yeah. He's wearing a tiny jacket, and he's a detective, so he looks into who's bugging me. So anyway, so basically what happened was I was like alone in my apartment, and my heart, like it was like a true physical response. So my heart drops to my stomach, and I just feel completely nauseous and completely fucked. And I feel bad. Sorry for swearing. Anyways.
So you were reading all of these comments?
No, I didn't, because I don't read my comments because I'm so sensitive. I can't handle it, man. Like, I understand that there's trolls out there, and they just want to, like, that's just like their full MO in life, and you're like, I can't spend time on that. Like, I'm not a warrior. Like, I can't, like, I'm not like, yeah.
Hey, clap back.
Yeah, I'm not a clapbacker. I'm more of a, like, well, I'm just going to keep on working towards people who do like me and, like, blah, blah, blah on that relationship. So anyways, I didn't know what to do, and then I felt really depleted. So that was, like, it wasn't, like, a true failure. Like, I felt like there was lots of people who did like my set, but those aren't the people who are commenting. Yeah. Unfortunately, the people who are commenting are the people who are like, let's rub this person's face in the dirt. Like, let's have her like eat her own shit and let's kick her while she's down.
Yeah.
So that was like a big failure feeling, and it took me like days to get over. I was like, fuck. And then it's interesting because if you look at all the other comments, for a lot of women comedians get it on the Just for Laughs Instagram page.
Yeah.
It's like, people are like, I didn't think anybody could be worse than Amy Schumer, but here it is. And you're like, you think Amy Schumer's bad? You're like, she's like the most popular person in the world who's so powerful and has many TV shows and movies. Like, she's clearly not bad, but it's just like one nerd who has like the soapbox for a moment.
I don't like this, and I'm going to tell everybody.
This is bad. I hate them. Like, I hate you. Like, all these... And it's so interesting because I feel like I would never comment anything negatively on anybody else's stuff. If I don't like it, why would I do that? And I guess it's just because I was raised in a loving environment. But it's hard when you're the recipient, and it kind of pulls you down to all the different, like, base feelings of when you're, like, a little kid and, like, was totally made fun of, or you felt helpless, or... if it dredges up all the feelings of failure in your life. Every time that you've screwed up and you didn't have the tools to cope. And since I was like alone in my apartment, it was like I didn't know how to.
It's amplified?
It amplified huge, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I have a lot of spunky pals who are comedians. And they're so good at, like, expressing themselves and being like, I'm going through this. Like, they, like, hey, everybody, look at what this person wrote to me. Like, them, or sorry, screw them, and, like, all this stuff. And I promised you I wouldn't swear, and then it keeps happening.
You're fine.
I'm like, that's no problem for me.
It's a hard switch to flip.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you're talking about something passionately and how, but I get it. Anyways, and so I just felt like completely unequipped to deal with it, and so I was texting with a couple of my friends, and they helped make me feel better. Like, one of my best friends, she's so awesome, and she was like it's nuts because I was like believing them. I was like, first of all, it's badly edited, it's badly shot, I don't look my best. They could have helped me look better. Like, they put me on stage for 2 seconds to test my outfit to make sure it's okay for lights and camera, but there's never a meeting between the performer, the director, and the editors. It's not like any other production or any other TV show where you would have that, so we can talk about our concerns, how I want to look, how I want to sound, the pacing of my jokes. Do you guys understand that for when you do the final edit? Can I see an edit before you release it? Can there be any sort of dialogue? So I don't know who's editing this, but they're like, it's not the same set of I'd say pacing for every single comedian. Everybody's different. It's like different types of music. Like, you wouldn't edit, like, you wouldn't like you wouldn't get like somebody who like edits hip hop to do like a country album, or else you would have, I guess, Kid Rock.
As we all know, no one wants Kid Rock.
Or and that's if somebody's actually really good at both, I guess. You know, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so it's making me. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I can't take this down. I'm not the one who put it up. I want to get back into Just for Laughs because I'm like, you know, it's snakes and ladders. Like you get it one year, you don't get it the next. You get it maybe never again, or maybe 2 years later. So I'm like, I can't complain to them. And so I'm like, I just had to sit there and like just let it wash over me. But my friend was like, this is like BS, man. Like, women are getting it so much worse on social media than men are. For their, like, people are like, yeah, this guy's funny. It's not saying that girls don't get compliments on it. I'm just saying I certainly didn't. But it was like, I felt like, I don't know who shot it and edited it, but it just looked, it so wasn't representative of what my like day-to-day sets are like. So I felt like just so awful from the crux of it. But then also, I don't think I deserve to be completely crucified the way I was. Like, I don't understand.
100% no.
And I'm not saying, I'm not political. I don't talk about anything that's like, I don't talk about literally any hot button issues. It's always like, just, you know, silly jokes. Mm-hmm. And so people are like, you know, just so mean. And then it's just sort of like, I'm just trying to make you laugh. Like, and then I don't want to feel like a weak person also. So it's like, my friend was like, no, this is so uncool. Like, you can't believe these people. We all know that if you go click on enough of their profiles, they're just like people in a basement with they haven't seen a tree in years.
Yeah. And these aren't the people coming out to shows. No.
They don't go. Yeah, they think that they're funny as they talk on their headsets to their other gamer friends. But like they're not. But they're not like they're not going to comedy shows. They don't, let alone getting up on the stage. So they wouldn't know. But it was, it was like pretty awful. Like I still think about it. I felt so humiliated, and I just felt like lower than dirt, and it was like traumatic. It was traumatic in a way.
Yeah, I always like if I'm looking for like this is a weird equation. Like looking up like a restaurant I want to go to, like on Yelp or something.
Yeah, totally.
Like more often than not, I feel like I can't really trust a lot of those rating systems because. You know, how many people have a good meal, or have a decent meal, and then are like, I'm going to post on Yelp about the decently good meal I had. No, it's either
unless you get a free meal for that.
Well, or that, but either it's like,
or you were friends with them, yeah.
Or you're friends with them, yeah. But like, it's either you had a transformative experience, or you didn't like it, and so you're going to post some scathing review. Most of the stuff online is people aren't going out of their way to be positive. They're going out of their way to be negative.
Yeah, that's right. It's almost like you just continue your life if things are good and fine, no resistance. Mm-hmm. But if you don't like something, that's when people will speak up.
Exactly. Like I would bet there are plenty of people who saw the clip who thought it was fine or thought it was funny and just didn't say anything or play anything because like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they put a like on it and kept it moving, which is cool. Like it's like I get it, but it's such an interesting thing.
It's a hard thing to balance in your head,
and especially this day and age, like it's just gonna get worse. And it made me feel like, it's like too late. There's nothing else I would do in my life, but it just made me feel so like weak.
Yeah, and it's so funny because you can post them like that and then get all that hate, but then there's all these trash memes floating around that are so dumb and stupid, and no one hates on those. They just keep
yeah, where are the people trashing memes? Yeah,
let's do that. Let's just start a
meme trashers
account.
Yeah.
Twitter.com/meme-trashers.
I think we're in a weird time where people are constantly churning out content, and all these corporations are like, okay, let's you know, for Just for Laughs, you know, it's a lot different than it was 20 years ago. That's when people would like, you know, sign a contract on someone's back after like an after party, and then they would have like, you know, a sitcom the next day. Yeah. But then now it's just sort of like they get a lot of comedians in, and then they're churning out tapings so that way they have lots of content to put out there. And then, so there's not necessarily love and care put into the production. They're treating us all like, they're treating all stand-up like it's the same style. And it's really like screws up a lot of us who have a different type of voice, who might not just be a deadpan set-up punch type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thinking about it, it's like I feel like it doesn't sting as much, but like it was nuts because it's like when your life is about one thing. For me, it's pretty much about comedy. It's like, so that one thing that I've been working at for over 15 years is the worst, and then you start you start believing people. And so my one friend, she's like, you can't believe these people. Like, what if they were saying this about me? Or like, think about, if you can't do it about yourself, because we're also so easy for us to feel sorry for ourselves, which is uncool as well. So, yeah, she was just like, you have to, I don't know, you have to like, you don't deserve to be crucified.
No, yeah.
Anyways, I really hope they have me back in the festival. But I think if I ever do get back, I would be like, is it possible to speak to the people who are shooting this and editing it and blah blah blah, because I don't want to die here, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to lay down in the middle of the road and just like be trampled on. I want to have like a fighting chance. And I think it's why a lot of successful artists are very like, they like, want to be, they have full control over every level of their work.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, a lot of us are just churned out so that way these corporations can have more content. And then they don't realize that these are crafted jokes and they're literally editing it wrong and then not giving us a fighting chance. Yeah. So that's a failure. That's my latest failure.
Was this last year's or this year's?
It was last year's, but they put it out a couple weeks ago. So when or like a few weeks ago. So when I was finding out that I didn't get in to this last year, I was also getting like kicked while I was down hard. But then also it blew my mind, because I was like, why am I working so hard to get into a festival, to have a taping that's completely produced in a weird way? Yeah. So it made me like go like, what's the point? I was like nihilistic to the max. I was like, what is the point of any of this unless I'm putting it out myself? But even right now, I was feeling so low. I'm like, how could I possibly put something out? Like right now, I was like so down in the dumps. Yeah.
I'm not unfamiliar with public ridicule. I get it. And so it's hard to. I mean, I started going to therapy. That helped me. But I don't know.
Oh my God, I know, right? Therapy is so great.
Therapy's amazing.
I haven't gone since I've moved to New York, but I mean, if I really want to fit in, I should.
Where are you from originally?
Toronto.
Oh, you guys are both. Okay.
Yeah. That's how me and Janelle are friends.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Sarah was on TV. That's the thing. The landscape is changing so much. Because I remember before I started doing comedy, I used to see you on TV all the time. And we had the show Video on Trial. Mm-hmm. I think they syndicated it, and it was in the States for a while.
It was basically like it was like Canada's MTV, called Much Music, and then it was like a show about making funny music videos, and it gave a lot of stand-ups their first show. Yeah. So anyways, but that's the thing, the Snakes and Ladders thing. It's like, you can be on a show. Like, I was on this show that was like probably one of the most popular shows in Canada for a while, but they barely paid me anything. So I still worked in a t-shirt shop during the day. Yeah, and then people would come in to the t-shirt shop and be like, hey, why are you here? And I'd be like, what's up? Like, there's just no way to get too confident.
That's really wild.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But that, I think, in the long run, it's better for our character to like never have full success.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're starting to sound like a 50-year-old man.
I am. Well, because you're like, let's talk about your biggest failure. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do the latest one. I'm like, well, I guess I'm still not over it, because I think I'm being a bit negative right now. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, it's a hard thing to shake. Jenna, have you experienced that kind of thing where like the internet just kind of turned against you for a minute?
I think I actively avoid those kind of things. Well, I've never had a TV taping yet, but even stuff like YouTube and recordings of my sets, I have it under lock and key, private YouTube link, where if someone needs it for a submission, I'll send it, or maybe a clip here and there. But it's just like, the format just throws everything off. Like, when you're in the room experiencing it, it's totally different than when you're watching it through a 3x3 inch thing on your phone, and so many aspects, like the actual full sound of the audience and the timing, the pacing, everything.
The whole atmosphere is sacrificed. But also, it's so funny because I'm like, I got this notification that there's a new comment on like on one of my stand-up on YouTube, and then I was like, oh god. And so like I couldn't even look, right? And then days later I was like, I clicked on it, and somebody just went, this is great, put up more. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, thank you. like you know what I mean? I was like just bracing myself for more, you're ugly, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh shit.
Relief. My God.
And it's hard, like, you lose either way. Like, it's either, oh, you're ugly, or even people that, like, one of our other friends.
And you know, all the men are getting that too. You know, all the men's like looks are completely depicted on their stand-up videos. They're like, look at his pants, ill-fitting. He should have shaved that day. Yeah.
Like, but when other people, you see them, oh yeah, that's just a hot girl that isn't funny and can't tell jokes. It's like, or I didn't even listen to anything. That's the thing.
Also, if it's good, it's subjective.
Sure. Exactly.
Right? It's like what one person loves, one person doesn't love. And then a lot of people, if it's sort of like, you ever go to the movies with somebody and they're like, I remember going to the movies with one friend and we were going to go see like a Wes Anderson movie. And then I was excited. And then he was like, oh, he's like, well, you're lucky I'm going to you with you because I hate Wes Anderson. And I was like, what? I'm like, why are we going to this? Maybe we should go see something else. He's like, no, let's see if it's good, right? So he's going in with this lens of impress me, which is how a lot of people watch stand up. Yeah. They're not walking in there with like a blank slate, open heart. Hey, let's have a nice time. They're like, let's see if they're any good. Like as if they're like the executive of some network.
Critic or something.
Yeah, people love feeling like a critic, and it's so funny because they're like, they have their arms crossed. They're going in ready to hate, and you're like, cool, just my life at work, no big deal. And all the people who are enjoying it, they're like, that was pleasant, and then they just turn off the TV and go to sleep. They're not hitting the internet being like, I saw a wonderful person doing a great job at something tonight.
Yeah. And with the haters too, it's like I've been a hater, not for comedy, but it's always you want to make yourself feel better. Like I love watching videos of people not singing well and thinking that they are, because it's like, oh, that person's so not self-aware. But I'm like, oh, because I can't sing like that.
But also it's like, yeah, it just feels so pointless. It's just like, anyways, it's like, it is so pointless, and it makes you think about so many different aspects of good versus evil, and like good behavior and bad behavior, and good energy and bad energy. And so it's like, I don't even want to engage with this negativity, because it's like, life is too short, and I have so many lovely, fun people who I have a great time with. And like I said, my batting average is good. I have wonderful shows all the time, and I'm making lots of friends and lots of fans all the time, and we're all having a blast. But for some reason, we always concentrate on that one person with their arms crossed and the scowl on their face. Yeah, because that's human nature, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to ask you something we ask all of our guests, and that's what's something that
the bonus.
Drum roll, please. And that's what brings you comfort. What makes you happy? Maybe after you saw all that gross internet BS, like what's something that brought you back? What's something that made you feel happy again?
One word: a friendship.
Friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Oh my God.
That's the first time we've heard that.
Yeah,
I think.
Just straight up friendship.
Yeah. Boy, do I ever lean on my closest pals. You know, I think it's so important, and they make me feel so good. And they're like we pick each other up. Like, this is what's awesome about you. And this is your, you know, these are all these things you've accomplished. You can't pay attention to this, or just people to really get you, like, know what you've been through and care. Like, it's so nuts. I love friends.
Yeah. Friends are great. The answer is friends. It's true.
Yeah. And I'm like, because a lot of people are more like lone wolves, but it's so important to me to have like the extended family. That's friendship, chosen family.
Yeah, chosen family.
Yeah. And who said it during their Tony Awards acceptance speech this year? They said, only hang out with people whose face light up when you walk into the room.
Andre Shields, I think, said that from 80s Town.
Yeah. And so that makes so much sense to me.
Only become, what did he say?
Only spend time with people whose faces light up when you walk in the room. Yeah, it's like
oh damn.
He gave a couple. He's probably in his 70s. Like he's an older actor. He's been around for a long time, since like probably I think The Wiz. Like he's been going for a while. And so he gave like his couple pieces of advice when he accepted his award. And it was, that was a very good piece of advice.
Yeah, and I feel like I have so many friends who I light up. Like, I'm so excited to see them, and they're so excited to see me. And it's like, I don't need to spend time with anybody else. I don't need to look at anything else when I'm so lucky to have that. And it's like such good vibes. Like, oh man, like elevating, radiating, like so silly fun, and it's so caring and loving. It's like, I feel like I'm gonna burst when I see somebody I love and know.
And do you find that helps you put out even better work after being around people that
I feel it's like, because it's hard to work from a place of judgment on yourself, and if you're already thinking about the final product and how people are gonna take it, like that's the hard thing. It's like when you're further along in your career or like in a mid spot, you're sort of like, you start to write thinking about what the reaction's gonna be, and I feel like it's actually hazardous. You want to start from a place of just like smart, funny ideas or whatever, but then you want to make yourself laugh, and you want to make people who have your friends laugh. Like, it's like working on expanding those relationships and those vibes, instead of trying to win other people over. I don't want to win these people over who think that I'm so awful and I shouldn't exist. I want the like goodness and creativity and the stories to grow between me and the people who are so already on my page.
Yeah,
I think that's the struggle, and that's also the best assignment.
Well said.
Whoa.
Sage words.
Follow Sara on Twitter at Sara _ Hennessey, and on Instagram at Sara Hennessey. And check out her comedy albums, They Know Too Much and Trouble in Saradise, on iTunes. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend, and please leave us a review on iTunes. It helps word about the show spread like some nasty Instagram comments by some nasty, nasty trolls.
Gross. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to easily download new episodes. I'm Trying is hosted, edited, produced, and scored by Janelle Dennis and me, Jacob Derwin. Our cover art was created by the fabulous Sammy Kappa. See more of her work at sammykappa.com. That's SAMICAPPA.com.
And go on and follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at ImTryingShow. And if you want, guess what? You can also follow us individually at Janelle Dennis and Jacob Derwin.
Big surprise. If you've screwed up or embarrassed yourself and are looking for help
or pity,
reach out to us on Twitter or email at ImTryingShow@gmail.com, and our team of crisis experts,
it's us,
will be more than happy to assist you.
We're reasonably happy.
Thank you so much for listening, and in the words of Andrew Gold, thank you for being a friend. Yeah. Travel down the...
You've been waiting 22 episodes.
That was a great...
Be able to sing
that
an
is
outro.
The perfect one to sing. You can't name a better one.